Hey everybody, Martyn at Flicking Feathers again today, and I'm tying Barry Reynolds' carp fly. It's a good pattern, especially places where the fish will eat something a wee bit bigger. Worth having. Tie them in different colours. I'm tying this in a sort of colour that works well here. As always, we'll put a materials list in the description, along with a link to the Patreon page for anyone who wants to support the channel. Get access to the monthly fly tying classes, members only content, and enter into the giveaways. So I've got my hook and my vise, and I'm not using the hook that's normally used for this fly. I'm using this, it's an owner Carp in C8, this is size 4. It's just much stronger. I see these tied on like the 200R usually. I think that's what the commercially available version is. And it's a weaker hook. Especially in some of the big lakes here, there are some very big fish, and even some of the rivers as well, you know, there's a good chance of a 25-35 pound fish, and they'll just straighten a 200R, but they'll no straighten this. Run on some Fire Orange Uni 6.0, use whatever you like, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to start a set of dumbbells. These are just black. It's the Groovy Twin Eyes. These are size 2. And I'm just taking the yoke wraps. Yeah, I just want to check that they're the same. So I'm a wee bit, I thought it was a bit far back there, so just before I've locked everything in place, I'll shuffle them forward slightly. That's better. It's actually better to do it like that if you're. And then come in, take some wraps in between the hook and the eyes, and then gather up that lead, lock it all down. Just make sure your eyes are nice and straight. You can still probably move them a wee bit at this stage. They're not that solidified. Not really locked them in yet. And then for my tail, I'm going to just use a bit of rabbit. This is just the natural, but you can use, you know, your preferred colour. Need a wee bit more. Better. The length I want is sort of like that, like kind of half a shank. So come down to the in line with the barb, and we'll just pinch that in there. And I like to sort of just wiggle it and roll it so that it goes all the way around the shank. Just tidy up. For my rib, I'm using some 6-pound mono. Just catch that in, fold the waist back, a wee bit long. Just come in with the back of my scissors, trim that away. And I'm catching it on my side so that when I turn the fly over, it's on the off side. For the back, I'm using thin skin, and the colour I'm using in this is like a speckly tan, but use whatever you like, again, like colours that suit you. I'm just going to take it off the backing. Trim it to a point for tying in. I'm just going to catch it and just let the thread sort of push it over into the hook gap. When I'm locked in, I'll just grab it and fold it over so it like cups the hook. And I've got the shiny side facing up at the moment so that I get the dull side on the back of the fly. But again, do what you like. I'll make a dubbing loop. Oh, squeaky. Get that locked in. Advance my thread. Now come in with a bit of super glue onto that lead and everything, and hit the dumbbells. Take another couple of passes over the dumbbell eyes, and then any excess just take it away. Touch it with your fingers. And that'll be dry by the time I've got my dubbing ready. So I'm using Craw dub, and I'm using a mix of grey and tan, 50-50. And what I like to do, before I put it in the loop, I'll pull it through itself a few times to align the fibres more or less. Doesn't need to be perfect, but it'll give you a better loop, a better dubbing loop. And then just load up my loop. Don't come too close to the body because it can tangle up. I'm not using any wax, I don't need it for this stuff. This dubbing sits really nicely in the loop for you. It seems to like the uni thread. That's probably enough. And spin my twist that. Make sure it's nice and tight, that you can get a wee pull, see if it's gripping the dubbing. And then I'll just come in with my brush, have a wee whip through just before I wind this. And I'm just going to use the rotary function. Make sure you're right back at the, use up that bare bit of loop just to get yourself right back to the tie-in so there's no any space at the tail. And then do your abdomen. Just get that how you like it. Trim away the waste. Just tidy up. Now I'm going to take the thin skin over, and I'll just, a couple of loose wraps is fine at this stage, and then I'll bring my dubbing under, my rib under, catch it in, make sure it's nice and tight, And just watch you don't drag any dubbing onto the top as you go around. And I like to sort of widen the segments as I go forward. There's my brush. And then when I get to the front, I'll back off my thread and then lift the thin skin and get the rib under it. Back of the scissors. Trim all that off. I'm going to take a speckled hen back feather. Right, just a cheap Indian hen. It's a nice one. Going to tie it in by the tip. I'm going to make another dubbing loop. Now for this one, I'm adding some brown, just to darken the thorax slightly compared to the abdomen, but you don't have to. I just like the look of it. And it's the same thing, just lining up the fibres a bit. Kind of dubbing tool. And again, you can leave yourself a piece of space, right? You don't need to have it right up against it. You can just eat up the empty thread of the loop, and it saves any hassle catching your hackle barbs or anything. Same again, get it nice and tight. Get a wee test pull just to see how it's gripping it. And then again with the brush. And then just use up this empty loop. Build up your thorax, pack it in, get plenty in behind the dumbbells, and then figure eight it through them, and then get a turn in front. And don't rush your eye, right? Make sure you've got plenty of space to tie the head off and all that. You've still to tie off your hackle and that thorax cover. Lift that a wee bit long, we'll just fold it back so that it will never pull out. And then wind your hackle, just sort of fold it to get it to sit. Come forward, you'll get, try and get a couple of turns behind the dumbbell. Then you can come in front and get a turn in front of them. And then just pull away that rubbish at the bottom. Catch it off. And again, just trim away the waste. Just draw the hackle fibres to either side. Try and split them kind of evenly. Let's see, that one wants to go here. You can sometimes you'll get, I don't know if you can see that, as I'm pulling that, there's some hackle fibres are trying to spring forward. That means you've probably sat it on the wrong side. So just come in. I'll just come in with my scissor point or your dubbing needle and just get it out of the way. Stretch that across. Take a loose wrap and sort of tie them in. Just nip. If you do it in 2 cuts, up and then down, you'll get a neater finish. And now, anything that's going forward, just catch it with your finger and sweep it back, tidy up. One single strip fibre there that's annoying me. There we go. And then I'll get my Velcro. Brush quite aggressively. Get that all fuzzy. And we can whip finish. And that's it. All that remains to do is varnish the head. And you're good to go. And that there is a good carp fly. Certainly catches plenty of fish. As I say, I mean, obviously it's one for where they'll eat something a bit bigger, but well worth having in your box, certainly. So I hope that was useful. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up below, and I'll see you for another video. Thanks guys, bye.